Picking with a piner, picking with a piner, picking with a piner, come pine along with me. Picking with a piner, picking with a piner, picking with a piner, come pine along with me. Hey there, quarantine world. We're back Facebook living and YouTube living with episode 4 of Picking with a Piner. Tonight I have two very, very special guests. Very, very talented fellas I've known for a good amount of time. One actually went to the high school that I went to. And so tonight we have the pleasure of sharing with Picking with a Piner, Mr. Cody Spicer and Eric Horrocks, both from Richmond, Virginia. Very talented fellas. We got Cody. Cody is a singing, songwriting country artist from King William, Virginia. He's been picking and playing music since he was 11 years old. Over the last 3 years, he's been playing around town. You can check out his 2020 release of his singles on the web. And he's backed by the band Baldy McGregor. You can find Cody on Instagram at Cody Spicer Music. And you can, or Baldy McGregor, or at CodySpicerMusic.com. And then we also have Eric Cody, thanks for being here, man.
You're welcome, man. Thank you for having me.
We also have Mr. Eric Horrocks from Hanover County, Virginia. He's one of the founding members of the Richmond-based jam-infused bluegrass band, South Hill Banks. South Hill Banks was the 2020 Lock-In to Lock-In finalist and the winner of the 2017 Floyd Fest On the Rise competition. I remember when you guys won that. That was awesome. And recently, they released a new album, No Time for Breakdown. Eric is from Hanover County, like I said. I grew up around Eric and his family out in the Beaver Dam area, Montpelier area of Virginia. And he plays, woo-woo. He plays mandolin, guitar, and writes songs for the band. You can follow him at EJH7288, or you can follow the band South Hill Banks at South Hill Banks on Instagram, or southhillbanks.com. So these are our fellas. Eric, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Picking with a Piner is the opportunity for us to get together, talk shop, have a good time, play some tunes, talk about the songwriting process, hang out with folks there on the interweb. I've been doing this for 4 weeks now, and I'm having a good time, and I'm happy to have both of you fellas on the show tonight.
Heck yeah, no, glad you asked me to be on, man. I've checked them all out. It's very entertaining, so glad to be part of it.
Cool, man. Well, tonight we're doing a tip jar, and I hope everybody can see at the bottom of the screen there. We're donating tonight to the Massey Cancer Center at VCU. Tonight's donations are on behalf of Gail Horrocks, that's Eric's mom, and we're giving to that. So if you see at the bottom, there's a Venmo tag and a PayPal tag. If you get us that money, we will donate it directly to the Massey Cancer Center. So that's where the tip jar is going tonight. So I hope if you're listening in there, you feel led to donate to that cause. We're all going through a rough time, and I know plenty of people out there are hurting due to the COVID-19 virus. But there's also institutions that have been out there for a long time doing good work, and they still need the help even in the current environment. So tonight's donations are going to the Massey Cancer Center. Eric, you want to say something a little bit about that tonight?
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you, letting us donate to that cause or that, that center, because today is the 11th anniversary of my mom passing away in 2009 from ovarian cancer. So, we've been raising money ever since. We have a little event in October that we raised close to $28,000 for the ovarian research for Massey Cancer Center under my mom's name. So,
wow, man, that's amazing. That's awesome. It's a great cause.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's happening. We're going through a lot right now, and even with people that do have cancer and have to go through treatments. I know someone's going through treatments now, and they don't allow visitors to go back there with them if they have to sit for 3 or 4 hours too. Yeah. So hopefully that money will go towards even now for entertainment for someone sitting there for so long, because it's it's tough. Everybody's going through different things, but
yeah.
Appreciate you, letting us.
Yeah, it's a good cause, and I'm happy that tonight that's where the tip jar is going. So thank you for choosing that, and thanks for being a part of the show tonight, and hopefully we raise a little bit of money for those good folks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, tonight I want to talk a little bit, starting off, about how you got started in music. I'll start with Cody. I picked up the guitar around 13, but I saw my first guitar and immediately knew I wanted to play and learn guitar. Once I got guitar, I didn't care to learn anybody else's music. All I wanted to do was bang on it and try to make songs of my own. And that was about at 12 or 13. My grandparents bought me for Christmas a Roy Clark guitar. It was an infomercial guitar, and it was made of plywood. I still have it in a garage somewhere, but that's how I got started playing guitar and immediately wanted to start writing songs. So, Cody, tell us a little bit about how you got started playing music and writing.
Well, I'm a drummer first. I'm most confident on drums. I've been playing drums the longest. I was a young kid, and I wanted to play an instrument, and begged my parents for a drum set, and they were crazy enough to buy an 11-year-old a drum set to put in the basement to bang on it all day. I started out listening to like AC/DC and Metallica, trying to get those, drum, tracks down. And I stumbled across a Led Zeppelin 2 CD, my dad's Led Zeppelin 2 CD in the basement. And I was like, I have to know how to do this. So I had to learn how to play guitar, wanted to learn how to sing, play bass. I just wanted to know how to do that, man. So that really inspired me to just learn it all, or not all, but, learn multiple instruments.
Muted. I was muted. I'm still trying to figure out the technology. But yeah, man, that's awesome. Eric, what about you, man? How did you get started in music and playing in bands and writing and stuff?
Well, I guess it started in fourth grade when the first, opportunity for me to play an instrument was the violin. It was either that or band. And, my parents, they didn't play instruments. So they were kind of like, you play baseball if you want to do something. I said, yeah, violin would be cool. And a couple years later, my grandpa actually started making guitars, and for the first time picked it up. And just from playing the violin for like 4 or 5 years, even reading sheet music, I just started reading tabs and learning the licks of classic rock. And I was like, man, I want all the gear in the world. I want a big amp. I want a big, a nice electric guitar. And started playing in high school as a lead guitar player for a couple different bands. And actually my brother, a couple years younger than me, started playing drums. So he was beating on the drums. I was playing some crappy guitar in the garage, and then that formed into a band for a couple years. And then, and always listening to, anything from, newgrass, like from Sam Bush to, the infamous String Dusters. They started in like '04, I guess. But really a lot of classic rock, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, and into rock like Weezer, and just a wide variety of different types of music. And then I picked up the mandolin about 7 years ago. I think my biggest inspiration is David Grisman, Sam Bush. Just kind of kept up with them. David Grisman with when he used to play with Jerry Garcia and the Pizza Tapes, stuff like that is just super cool, super folky.
Yeah, I love all the old and in the way stuff.
Yeah, old and in the way, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That and then Bob Dylan to Tom Petty, it all just kind of intertwines with my life and how I was raised into music, essentially.
Yeah, it's funny. Both of you, you starting out on drums and then moving into guitar, and then Eric, you starting out playing guitar and then moving in and kind of finding your way into mandolin, and then both of you finding your way in songwriting. It's interesting. I picked up the guitar and I've struggled limping along trying to learn other instruments, but I'm always fascinated by people that can move on to different things and actually conquer them. And I've seen you both play and you both master the instruments you play. And Cody, it's I think a lot of the times we find the music that we love through the people around us, and early on, my mother always had better taste in music, and so she introduced me to Bob Dylan, the band, and Neil Young, A lot of the movie, really good music from the '60s and the '70s, and of course Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker Band, all the '70s rock, Southern rock stuff. So, and it's great how the people around us influence us. And Eric, it's funny you mentioned about sports kind of being there first, and that was always my first love. I always had a football, baseball, or basketball in my hand, and that was always my first love. And I had a talent that I didn't even put out there until later on in life. I don't know why. I was scared or something to jump into the musician boat, but I'm happy I finally did. Now, both of you skateboard. I know that's one thing that you both have in common is you both skateboard. And I'm not just talking about them little flippy things that the Southfield Banks boys constantly post about.
You get bored.
I mean, actually busting your knees up, banging your ankles, skateboard, and you both do it.
Yeah. I used to every day after school went up to the Ashland skate park until baseball season hit, and then my coach would yell at me for having too long a hair and have to cut it. But I did for a long time, and then kind of went to college, and then just recently kind of picked it back up because I try to run and stay in shape, but it just gets boring after a while.
Cody's gotten in shape doing it, man. I've seen you getting in shape doing it, and I've seen you be doing it a lot recently. And I don't know. I mean, did you skateboard when you were younger, Cody?
No, I did not. I grew up in King William.
we don't have any you didn't have any asphalt.
Right, exactly. By the time I threw my board down and got on it, I had to stop because the sidewalk ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. That's funny.
We moved out to Richmond 2 years ago. I wasn't going to drive an hour to go hunt during the weekends, and I wanted to find something physical activity to do because working out is just hard for me to commit my mind to it. So if I distract myself with something fun and active, then I can do that. But so I've only done skateboarding since August of last year, but I love it. I do it every day.
That's cool, man. I've been watching you on Instagram, man. Shit, you're getting good.
Yeah, man. I've been jumping stairs and stuff. It's fun. It's scary, but it is fun.
Well, maybe we can get you two together one day and go skateboarding. I'll ride my bike around.
Yeah. Play guitar and ride our skateboards around.
I was always the poser. I always had the Vans and the Airwalk shoes. But again, I grew up in the country and we didn't have anywhere to skateboard, so it made it a little bit difficult. But I love the music around that scene, and and it was big when I was in middle school and even in elementary school. It started coming out and everyone was doing it. But I wasn't any good at it.
It's so interesting because it's just like music. It's an art form. Everybody looks at an obstacle different. Everybody, looks at a guitar different. It's you just do what you want with it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we've got some people on here that are saying hi. I just want to make sure I want to acknowledge them real quick. Dylan Harris, who's in my band, said what's up. Kelly Troball's on. Bob Turner said, Woody, I like your T-shirt. Sonia Talman, who's a great friend and person that so supportive of my music and other local musicians around town, is on watching. Kyle Pemberton, William Fino, Willie Klein. There's a lot of Wills and Willies on, and Greg Spicer says, "Hell yeah!" I'm wondering that's some of your kin.
Oh, that's my dad, and Willie, he's my bass player.
Oh, Willie's your bass player. Everybody you know seems to be named Spicer. What's up with that?
I don't know. That's kind of weird, man. I thought we share the same last name or something.
King Williams, ski.
Okay.
And then Debbie Smith, who is Eric's aunt, is on. She said, enjoying you guys. Hey, Debbie, it's good to see you, and thanks for listening tonight. Janice Robinson's on, and Crystal
Spicer. Oh, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Janice. My aunt.
Janice, happy birthday. And Crystal Spicer also can. I believe that's your mother.
Yep.
Hi, Crystal. Thanks for tuning in. And Ryan Horrocks, all the way on the West Coast, I believe, has put some sort of weird emoji that didn't show up on Facebook. So, and I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's get into some let's play some tunes. So there's a lot of people watching. 25, I guess, are watching right now. Cody, why don't you kick us off with a song, and then I'll have Eric do something real quick.
Okay, cool. I'll start with an original tune.
Do it.
Kind of a positive message during this weird, crazy time. Probably wrote this a couple years back, but It's called Keep On Keeping On. And it's just,
I like that.
I think I wrote it just because, if you got a passion and you want to pursue it, you should do it until, you die, really. I mean, just do it until
My grandmother said, these are the words of my nanny. She said, fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Right. But if you love something and you don't want to give it up, don't give it up, man. Just keep doing it and just, try to be the best you can,
There you go. I like that.
So you just keep on keeping on.
Give it to us, man. Give it to us.
I've been trying to find a reason why I am alive. Just what the hell am I doing here? Find my peace with Jesus before the day I die. 'Cause I keep hearing that the end is near. Oh no. Well, I'm an Eastern man with Western dream, and it gets harder every day it seems. Living and learning, you gotta wait your turn. Only way you gonna live that dream. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Took a trip across the country out to LA. The sun blowing all the way out there so you can turn away. Well, at least I tried, won't let it get me down none. Went back to Virginia and I wrote this country song. Well, I'm an Eastern man with a Western dream, and it gets harder every day it seems. Live and learn and you gotta wait your turn. Only way you gonna live that dream. So keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on. Well, the only thing in life that I want, the only thing in life that I need, is love from the Lord and a good old Southern girl, country song in these extremes. Well, now I'm an Eastern man with a Western dream, and it gets harder every day it seems. Live and you learn and you gotta wait your turn. Only way you're gonna live that dream. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing that one. Keep on keeping on by Cody Spicer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I really enjoyed that. We had plenty of people on that were enjoying that as well. Eric, I think you're up, man. Give us something good.
Cool, man. Well,
Before we jump in, you said you said you wrote that song. When did you write that song, Cody?
3 years ago, I wrote it the day I got back from auditioning for The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to Maryland to stood in line for like 6 hours to sing 60 seconds, and I got past the first round. And I had to drive 30 minutes north to a recording studio where the second auditions take place. I passed that round. Excuse me. And then 2 weeks later, they called me back, and they wanted to fly me out to LA. I'd never been on a plane before. They fly out to LA. They stayed with me to stay there for 3 days. It was the last audition before TV. A lot of people don't know they have 3 auditions before TV.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that prior. But it was a really cool experience. I met a lot of cool people, a lot of talented people, people I'm still friends with now and still gig with. I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, it brought me like I wrote 2 songs the day I got back. I was really inspired after that trip.
Yeah, man, it's funny how those experiences fill that passion, and that passion drives the writing. And I think without the passion, it's hard to have the writing.
Right, I agree.
So it's being in that state of mind and being open to what's happening in your life at that time and capturing it. Now, we talked about this a lot before on this live stream about making sure that you're paying attention when those songs come through. If you don't write them down, you don't record them, or you don't put a note in your phone, it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that one, Eric. You guys both are extremely talented, and I feel a little insignificant tonight with all this talent on the live stream. But if you would, man, would you do a song for us?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was thinking, talking about inspirations. I'll play the guitar on one. It's a Tom Petty song that goes way back for me. Saw him back in, I think, 2009 for the first time, and a couple times after that. And, it was definitely a tough time to see him pass away when he did.
Yeah. We've lost a lot of good ones here recently, man. With John Prine passing this year, and it's been heavy.
Yeah. I know, man. It's crazy. And, especially, social media comes into play in a good way when, to fill that void, everybody, covering, the songs that when people pass away and stuff like that. I mean, when, Prince passed away, we covered, I think Purple Rain, or I played it with somebody. Just like, brings out the music that's been there for a while. If you haven't listened to somebody, it'll, bring them into someone else's life that maybe you haven't listened to them too much. But I don't know, Tom Petty's always been there. And, this song kind of, tag teams, to Cody, your song a little bit. I mean, at least what I get out of it is just kind of that, I guess when he wrote it, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
You should be free with doing it.
Yeah. And, it's the thing about this live stream that I love is that people that are on it share what inspires them to write, but also we share songs that, grab our attention, something that we look at and say, damn, that's a good song. And I love that, we just had Cody play a song of his, and you're going to play a cover tune. I know you're going to play a couple more that are songs that you wrote. But I love that because it is the things that we listen to. It is the experiences that we go through that help to write and get us to a place of creativity. So, Eric, go ahead, man. Share that song with us.
Cool. Yeah, no, definitely. The cover songs that I learned too are the inspirations that make me want to write, music or licks on a mandolin or fiddle tunes and stuff like that. But anyway, definitely. This one's called Wildflowers. belong somewhere you feel. Run away, find you a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by your side. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me. Far away from troubles and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you feel free.
Yeah, man, loving the Tom Petty. That's one of my favorite Tom Petty records. That one there.
Yeah, man.
It's so good, and he did that one a little bit later after all the Heartbreakers stuff. It's definitely got a more acoustic vibe to that whole album. But that's one of my favorite songs too by Petty.
Yeah, I think Bob Dylan helped him with that one too, if I'm not mistaken. Or at
He
least
did. Yeah, that was about the time they were doing the traveling. What is it? Willoughby's. Wilburn, Wilbur's Traveling Wilbur's, which had Orbison, I think, was in that, and Dylan and Petty, and I'm trying to think of who else was in there. Somebody from the Beatles or Stones was in that. I think it was Ringo.
Ringo?
I think it was. Yeah. Someone correct me online if I'm wrong about that one, but I think there was a Beatle in the Traveling Wilbur's. But nice job, man.
Part of that too.
Who was?
Neil Young, I believe, maybe.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're right. So fact check us out there, Instagram Live. This is where you can tune in. Somebody search and tell us who was in the Traveling Wilbur's. But if you haven't listened to that stuff, that's some good stuff too. A bunch of talented folks. But man, thanks for sharing that one.
Yeah, man. I usually just play mandolin and don't sing. So I've been trying to do more of that lately.
It's funny how the brain works too, man. I remember. So interesting fact is when I first started getting the courage to play out live music, I joined a bluegrass band. The band, we had called ourselves Blue Tick Holiday. For anyone out there listening that remembers, the band was called Blue Tick Holiday, and I got an opportunity to play with some really cool bluegrass pickers. And learned a lot in that process, man. It's amazing how you can. Oh, here we go. Thanks for the fact check, Renee. Renee is my cousin's wife. Description English. Dylan George Harrison. Gotcha. I was wrong on the Ringo Starr. I definitely was George Harrison. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate that. Renee's she's volunteering up in New York for the COVID epidemic. She just went up there. She lives in Arlington. Her family lives in Arlington, and she went up there to help out. So thanks for what you're doing, Renee. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, man, I started playing bluegrass music, and it taught me so much getting into that roots music, and I challenged myself because at first we had two guitars, acoustic guitars in the band, and then my buddy Del Wilhite said, we can't have a bluegrass band with two acoustic guitars. So we flipped coins, and I lost, and I had to learn to play the mandolin. So I had forced myself to play the mandolin, and I just kind of sat in the corner and chucked. And but during that time, Traveling Wilburys. Yeah, that was the name of it. I got it wrong. I was saying Wilbur's. But we had some of the facts right. That's why you can't believe everything you hear on the internet. But yeah, but so I dug into folk music and bluegrass and started really writing a lot during that period. And it's funny how the brain works and trying to jump from guitar to mandolin. It's a hard process because everything's upside down.
Yeah, and Woody, I know you mentioned earlier, giving me the benefit of the doubt to learning other instruments. Violins chain the same as a mandolin. So I forgot to mention that when I made the transition from guitar to mandolin, I was like, what what's tuned like a violin that I could play like a guitar?
Yeah.
So
you cheated. You cheated basically.
I still wanted all the effects and everything. Some people see us live. Like I still have an echo pedal and some weird stuff. Just try it out, but it kind of. I mean, it still was definitely a transition, but not if you got a couple years of violin experience, it helped a little bit.
Yeah, that's for sure. It helps having one foot in already. It certainly helps. When you walk in blind, it ain't no fun. Cody and I, we were talking a while back. He was writing a song, and I was writing a song. We were both stuck in the mud over the song, and each one we were working on. And this was one that I was working on. I finished it back then, and Cody went on to finish his. His came out in 2020 with his recordings that you can find on the Spotify and interwebs. I guess it's on Apple Music as well, right, Cody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's all over the web. You can find that song, and that one was titled what?
City Dog.
City Dog. Yeah, and him and I were going back and forth. We were both stuck, like I said, in the mud, trying to figure out how to take the song and where to go with ours. And this was mine. I was writing this one. It was called Poor Man's Gold, and I finally finished it, and we've been playing it out for about a year. But this is Poor Man's Gold. I was born in a Carolina hurricane, round mid-July in the pouring rain. Never had $1 to my name. Well, I was raised on biscuits, beans, and rice. I ain't never had nothing in my whole damn life. Never had $1 to my name. Well, I've been working like a mule since the day I was born. I'll keep working like this until the cows come home. Livin like a D-O-G. Well, it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. I can't get this monkey off of my back. Never had $1 to my name. Well, life ain't worth a damn if you ain't got nothing to show. You can light it up and you can smoke it, drink it till it's gone. You can spend your whole life working your fingers to the bone, trading a rich man's dollar for a poor man's gold. I've been working overtime trying to pay my bills, living on coffee, whiskey, and pills. Every dollar that I make goes down the drain. Well, it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. I can't get that monkey off of my back. Never had $1 to my name. Well, life ain't worth a damn if you ain't got nothing to show. You can light it up, you can smoke it, drink it till it's gone. You can spend your whole life working your fingers to the bone, trading a rich man's dollar for a poor man's gold. Yeah, trading a rich man's dollar for a poor man's gold.
Heck yeah.
There you go.
Now, Woody.
Huh? What'd you say?
I like how that turned out.
Yeah, man. It worked out. It was. It took me a while to get to. I think the chorus, and once I had that, it was all downhill from there. And then some of it was just coming up, making sure I had the proper structure.
That's funny you say that, because I think verses are like just the hardest for me to write, man.
Absolutely, it usually is for me too.
Yeah, it's just hard to like take one idea and then like try to build different ideas off of that, to make a song, but through different perspectives.
Yeah. For me, it's always going to the next place with the verse. That's what I struggle with the verses. Chorus, it's like trying to keep it simple enough to where it can draw you back to each one of the verses. And I have trouble with that too. I mean, there's nothing I don't have trouble with when it comes to songwriting. A lot of times it's just what feels right and what feels natural when you're doing it. And sometimes I struggle more on the chorus than I do with the verse. And sometimes it's the verse I can't figure out, and I think, for me with the verse, my challenge is always trying to make sure the song progresses somewhere else. I get caught up on one idea and I get stuck in that one thought, and then I feel like I've written a second chorus that's the exact same idea as the first one.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. I've been there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and again, I don't. So Lance usually, and Ryan's written quite a few songs for us too, and like most of the stuff I write is more just personal anyway. But like I do quite a bit of writing lyrically, and it just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just start on the very first verse, and then everything will come out, and then I'm like, well, shit, I haven't even written the chorus yet. And then it's like, do I put the whole picture in the chorus? Do I just say something kind of tying into it, or something completely different that'll tie in the first to the last verse? But usually I'll start with like some type of verse progression, and then I'll think of a cool, chorus and a turnaround or something like that. That's usually how my song at least come into. And lately I've been trying to come up with some type of like a walk into chords, like a kind of a melody kind of thing, at least for like the beginning of a verse or something like that. But usually I write it from top to bottom, and sometimes I'll stop after one verse and throw the piece of paper away and not come back to it. Or sometimes I'll sit there and like feel like if I don't write it all down and finish a song in 20, 30 minutes, it takes me a long, long time to get back in that mindset of that idea.
Yeah, there's different philosophies on it all, and there's no right way. That's one of the common things that keeps coming up on this on these episodes is there really isn't a right way to do it, and I have to retrain my brain to not always think in a pop structure. And sometimes you have to go outside and listen to what other people are doing to realize that there is no one way of doing anything. You don't always have to start with a verse. You don't always have to start with a chorus. You don't even need a chorus sometimes. There's so many good tunes out there that you don't even realize never really had a chorus. It just had a refrain at the end of each line, or they didn't even have that.
Right.
There's so many good story songs that take you through that way. And in popular music, yeah, it's easy to get caught into that perfect structure, the ABA, verse chorus structure. But the more that I research and the more that I read and the more that I listen to I think the best thing to do is to listen to what other successful people have done, and not always try to mimic that, because I think a lot of what they were doing was thinking outside of the box, and because it was outside of the box, it was successful.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look at John Prine, for instance. Like most of his songs are either 1-4-5 or 12 blues, the whole song. But he wrote a chorus with those half the time. It's crazy just how that right there, just like Bob Dylan and a lot of different people, like just straight up songwriters in that realm. That calms me down when I get frustrated about trying to learn a bridge, or like literally to say something in your song, you really only need 3 chords if you can say it.
One of the things I've been doing recently when I hit that wall, because we all hit the wall. I think the point is getting past that frustration. I think that's what it's figuring your way, because everyone has their own way of getting over that hump, whatever that wall is that you hit. Fighting through that is the toughest thing, I think, and I struggle with that as well. And you're right. I think if you reference other people, that helps you know, it helps you get through that struggle period, I think. I was doing that recently with Neil Young. I was frustrated in writing, and I heard Jason Isbell and Amanda Shires. They were doing a live stream thing, and they played a Neil Young song on their on her podcast, or it's not a podcast. Jason Isbell kept calling it a podcast. It was on their live stream that they do, and he kept talking about how, you know, that song, and I was like, what is that song? I haven't heard that Neil Young song before. And it ended up, I went and looked at it, and it was such a simple written song that it helped me get through. Like, dude, get over yourself. You know, 3 chords in a song, man. Just do it.
Yeah. Think about the words more than the chorus, you know, or the chords.
Yeah. And what John Prine, and John Prine's always a good reference. What you mentioned about John Prine is, I think what I get from John Prine is it's not about perfection. It's about capturing a feeling. You know, it's feeling over form in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And even the words that like you would think would rhyme, he would say something else. So it's almost like about not saying what everyone expects, you know, kind of thing too.
Yeah.
It's like, that's always in my mind too. Cause it's
like, I think getting caught up in the rhyming thing can trap you. You can easily fall into a pitfall and get trapped and find yourself in writer's block real easy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you all. This is something that happens to me. I always find my writing happens in different periods. So like, I'll be frustrated for a week because I feel like I have no inspiration. I can't write a damn thing. And then I have 3 weeks where I write and I feel like even just small lines here and there I'm happy with.
Yeah.
What about you all? How does that work with you?
I'd say it's similar to that. You know, I definitely can't force a song. Every time I try to force to write a song, I don't like it, or or it feels not right. So I have to let the inspiration, I have to let the muse come to me on this, and that is a very frustrating part because I mean I've gone like up to like a year and a half like without writing anything before, you know what I mean? Just like because I mean I've wanted to, you know, I'm like, okay, let's write a song, and then I'll go to write it, and just nothing good comes out, or nothing that feels good comes out, you know. So I definitely like Hank Williams Sr. rule. You know, if you can't write it in 10 minutes, then it ain't, you know, genuine. But I mean, that's a little extreme, but
it is.
Most of my songs that I think are really good have been written in probably an hour and a half or less. You know what I mean? I just think it's genuine, and I think that's what comes from the heart.
I think coming back to a song is hard because you had that inspiration at one moment, and trying to capture that feeling, it's hard to find the right line. But I've had instances where I wrote a song when I was younger, and then came back to it, and what I added to it made it better. So I agree. You know, it's the inspiration that you got to try to capture, and if you walk away from that, it's hard to get back to it.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, great point. It absolutely is about making sure that you're paying attention when that inspiration happens. I'm going to come back to something you said, Cody, but I want to talk to Eric about his process a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's the days that I say I want to try to write something down every day are the days that I'm inspired to write, and that's not every day. So it's like, you know, it just never happens. Like I want to write a song every day, and I know a lot of people try to do that, whether it sticks or not. But that's like the days that I say I'm going to do that, I'm like, yes, let's do it. And then tomorrow happens, and it's like, I'll go, you know, do skateboard or run or something, and just like, and then the day's gone. But I don't know. Honestly, I'll sit around and just play guitar because sometimes I'm practicing mandolin, and then I'll come up with like a lick or a riff or something on there, and then try to transfer it on guitar, and it sounds even better, or it sounds worse. But sometimes that'll, you know, spark a chord progression that I normally wouldn't do on the guitar because, you know, I play mandolin a lot and play different chords and stuff just for what we do. Or I'll just, you know, play around learning a new fiddle tune on the guitar, just trying to learn it better. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Or chord progression of a new cover that I'm learning. Not necessarily, you know, like copy exactly the chord progression of what I'm learning, but that could like stem an idea, and then I'll say, that's cool. Then let me try to write lyrics around it, or, put some notes in, my phone. If something, like the other day I woke up randomly and I don't even know what it was, but I have to put that in my phone, whether I use it or not, it's there. But I think I try to overall have a good idea, just one simple idea, and then try to sit down and write a couple verses and choruses to that idea instead of seeing how the song evolves. I mean, I've sat down with really no idea and started just writing and seeing how it comes out too. It's no real process I guess I have that's worked or hasn't worked.
Yeah, but I think it's a trap. You can get caught up too much in the process sometimes, and you can get into trying to force something, and it feels forced. And I think it's just about paying attention to those moments that occur, and then trying to at least capture it so you can come back to it. Because there's been plenty of times where I was like, damn, that's a good lyric, and then I was like, oh, I'll write it down later. Sure enough, every time you forget to write it down, and then you can't find it again, and it just doesn't feel the same way the way you phrased it, or the melody that you phrased it with. Right. So I think what you both bring up is a good point. It's just making sure whether you have a process or I think everybody kind of has their own little process, but whether or not you're on it every day, I think the point is making sure you're capturing that inspiration at some point, whether you're recording it, writing it down, and just not forgetting it.
Right.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Good discussion. Hey, let's go on. Let's do another song. Let's do another round of songs. Cody, would you mind playing us a tune? And then I'm going to come back to something that Cody said, because it's something that I'm constantly searching for. But I'll talk about it a little bit after we all play a tune. So go ahead, Cody. Play us something else.
Okay, cool. This is I'm gonna try something new. I've only played this once on my last Facebook Live, which was my first Facebook Live, by the way. So
yeah,
this is only the second time I've played this song out, but it's called "No Getting Out."
Yeah, that's how you break them in, man. You break them in by playing them. I mean, you got to play them for people to see what works. I played 2 last week that I thought I was ready for. Like, I thought I had it memorized and shit, and I was real confident. And sure enough, getting in front of a computer and trying to play my song, I screwed the pooch on it. But I'm still proud of the 2 songs. Huh?
I said you were reading the comments.
Yeah, I know. I'll read the comments about it. But go ahead. Yeah, Cody, we love that, man. Play that new thing for us.
All right, cool. It's called No Getting Out, and sounds like this. 3-quarter fuel left in the tank, but lately I'm running on E. Ain't got many more years left till I ain't got my whole life ahead of me. It's a short trip down a long road, walk past distractions, feed your soul. Don't play to win, careful how you bid. And Lord, don't deal that devil in, 'cause then you're all in. Never get out alive, never get out alive. Seasons come and seasons go, and what you reap is what you sow. Don't depend on luck when times get rough. Gotta keep going when the going gets tough. When there's enough, never get out alive. You'll never get out alive. I'm losing sleep, I'm losing my mind, wasting my days, running out of time. And only God knows why I never get out alive, never get out alive. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Cody, you got a killer voice, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Got that country soul, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Deep in my bones. I feel it, brother.
Awesome, man.
That's a good one, man. That is one to continue doing, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Eric, play us another tune, man.
Please.
We got plenty of people on here watching, and they're enjoying it, it looks like. Thanks for saying hello, everyone, and we appreciate you tuning in to episode 4 of Picking with a Piner. Tonight's tip jar is going to the Massey Cancer Center, and thank you for Eric for honoring his mother tonight and telling us about this great cause. And we just want to make sure that tonight's tips, if you feel led to, please make sure you tip us, and we will make sure that money goes tonight to the Massey Cancer Center at VCU. And we're honoring Eric and Ryan's mother tonight, Gail Horrocks. I mentioned Ryan because that's your brother, and I know he's not in town anymore, but I miss him, and so his name came to my mind. But Eric and Ryan, their wonderful mother passed away, and so tonight's tip jar goes to that, and we just want to make sure we're supporting great causes during this time, and I think that's a very, very good one. So,
heck yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Eric, thank you for making that one the one we're doing tonight. So appreciate that. So you'll see that screen. It's going across the screen there at the bottom. You can Venmo Eric Horrocks or PayPal me. Eric couldn't figure out his PayPal, and I couldn't figure out my Venmo. So we're teaming up on this one, and whatever you give us, we're going to make sure it goes to the Massey Cancer Center. So thanks again for tuning in to Picking with a Piner. We have Cody Spicer, the great country artist and singer-songwriter, originally from King William, Virginia. Ski, ski. And and then Eric Horrocks from the only Hanover County, Virginia, where they raise really wonderful musicians and artists and players and athletes, and have the best football team in all the state of Virginia. Shout out to Patrick Henry High School in Ashland, Virginia. Ski, ski. All right, Eric, do us a favor and play us a tune, man.
Cool. Yeah, this is actually a little fiddle tune I wrote not too long ago down in South Hill Banks in the community. I think I called it Dirty Dusty Roads or something. I don't know. I was literally, as soon as I got there with my dad, I sat down on the couch and somebody flew by on the gravel road, and just dust was flying by, and I just started playing. You know, it's just a fiddle tune, so it really doesn't say too much about a dusty road, but it just kind of came out. So that's what it's called.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Do it up for us, man. Sorry.
There we are.
Awesome, man. I love a good fiddle tune.
Yeah, man.
Love a good fiddle tune, man. It's something about that roots music makes you feel like you're on a back porch somewhere watching the dust fly up down the gravel road for sure. So yeah, man, thanks for sharing that one. I'm fascinated by the fiddle tune and traditional bluegrass music. I constantly am going back to roots music or back porch picking type of music. I mean, ironic. This is called Picking with a Piner. And I named my band the Piners because to pine means to long for something or someone. And it's all in traditional folk music to pine for things. And a lot of times it's a loved one. But it could just be that feeling, And I think we go back to that porch to try to find that thing that we're missing or longing for in that old time music. And so I love bluegrass. I love that old timey stuff. So thanks for sharing that one. That sounds like it could have been written 100 years ago.
Yeah, that was awesome.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've always wanted to kind of put, I learned so many fiddle tunes and all that stuff, and like there's so many ideas, and some days it seems like every idea is taken and every lick's taken. But it's how you put it together. But going back to bluegrass music, I mean, from playing in like a sort of rock band kind of growing up, and then getting into a bluegrass band, like, we don't have drums, and sometimes we'll get booked for a festival and they're like, oh, hey, we'll give you a couple extra bucks if you want to play next to the fire at 2 a.m. after your set, and it's like,
they already played for 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, we're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And that takes you really back. Being on stage, there's nothing like it with people, liking your music or listening, but also being able to play around a fire with any instrument or anything, it definitely brings you back to the porch picking and just like people just having a good time and you being able to supply that good time to them,
Yeah, I think a lot of times I have to go do that every once in a while, just play with people, and I don't get to do it as much anymore, and I certainly don't get to do that now in the current era that we're living in, this weird quarantine that we're all having to live through. I keep calling it quarantine because I refuse to call it quarantine. But it's that's the one thing I miss about being in a band is sitting across from the guy and capturing that feeling of just sitting around playing, and that generally tends to make the song. It's when you put it all together.
Right.
We all love the words, but it's nice when it all comes together.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of bluegrass music. If you don't know, I've started picking out playing bluegrass songs, and Cody, I know you love roots music as well. I think we all have that in common. That soul, bluegrass, gospel, country, early rock and roll kind of brings and melds us all together in the bands that we're in and the stuff that we play now. You can hear it in everything that we do. So I think there's some commonality there.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a tune, if that's okay with you all. We're coming up on the hour, and we'll probably try to do one more song. I do have that question I want to come back to Cody with, and I'm going to do that after this tune. This one is a song I played in the first episode that I did. I'm going to do it again. This one's called Family Tree. It's a country tune I wrote, trying to sound like a bunch of old country players, and it's about it's about growing up and not trying to make the same mistakes your daddy made. So it's called Family Tree. My roots run deep down the old family tree. Trouble runs deep in my blood. And every time that I climb to the top, I hit every branch on the way down. When I was a boy, my mama told me, son, don't do like your daddy done. Stay away from wild women, whiskey and bars. Don't let that long neck bottle break your heart. Well, my roots run deep down the old family tree. Trouble runs deep in my blood. And every time that I climb to the top, I hit every branch on the way down. Well, I ain't done nothing but hang with them fools. I got drunk, thrown out of bars, and I let mama down. Lord knows she tried. If the whiskey don't kill me, the women just might. Well, my roots run deep down the old family tree. Trouble runs deep in my blood. And every time that I climb to the top, I hit every branch on the way down. One more time. Well, my roots run deep down the old family tree. Trouble runs deep in my blood. And every time that I climb to the top, I hit every branch on the way down. I hit every branch on the way down. I hit every branch on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Family tree.
Hit every branch.
Yeah, man. Everyone all the way down. But yeah, man, we were talking a little bit to Cody earlier, and Cody mentioned a term that I don't know if everyone is familiar with. They might have heard it at some point in high school English class, but it is something that I constantly am trying to understand and figure out. But it's the topic of the muse, and we've brought it up a couple of times in this before, and everybody, it kind of means something different to everyone, and it could be a thing, it could be a people, it can be a place, but at the end of the day, it's whatever comes in and inspires you to write and create. As a songwriter, there's these traveling bards going around as we are and trying to capture the perfect song, because that's what I'm on the chase for, man. I want to just write that one song that lives on forever, and I don't know why that's the way I feel, but I'm constantly trying to find that perfect lyric, that perfect line, the thing that makes me feel the way I do, and hopefully makes other people feel the same way too. I didn't mean to make that rhyme; it just happened. But I've read a lot of books and things on just different other songwriters, people that did really great things, and to be honest, they all had something in common, and it's generally the muse. They always kind of talk about it and reference it. So, Cody, what does it mean to you?
Well, I think you really nailed it when you say it could be anything, because I think it really can. It can be a person, it could be a sunset, like scenery, it could be a moment in time that happens to you, it could be a season you're in, it could be, it could be anything, man. You could just be riding down the road and see somebody in the front yard doing something that you're like, oh man, that'd be a good song, or it could literally be anything, and that's the beauty of it, because it could hit you at any moment in time. You just have to be ready for it. And like we were talking earlier, you have to document, at least something that's going to spark your memory. Yeah. Try to bring me back when you had that muse. If you don't finish a song, whatever, or if you don't finish writing or whatever. But it could be anything, and that's the beauty of it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it really is anything. I think the key for me is trying to figure out how to tap into it, though.
Right, how to dig deeper. That's what I struggle with too.
Yeah, and I think like it's easy to be inspired by something you see, but then being able to capture that moment and the way it made you feel and the way generally other humans might feel is the hard part. And then being able to constantly tap into that creativity is something I think if we could always tap into it, we would write all day long. But I don't think any of us can write. I don't think any of us can write all day long. We can try, but we'll get frustrated at some point, and then you lose focus or you lose what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency, quality. I think, but I think that's the key is trying to tap into whatever that thing is that's out there. I think it's a ghostly figure. The Greeks called, I think deem the term muse. I don't know. Fact check us out there, Facebook. We're constantly looking for fact checks. So I believe the Greeks were the ones that talked about the muse and the poets, and I certainly chase after that thing. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what's under the surface of an idea that is so hard to unlock. That's why not everyone can be a songwriter or can't sustain the frustration to get past that and find what's under the surface of an idea. Everyone can write a one-liner, I feel like, but being able to get to that next verse, to get to the chorus that makes sense, whether a song makes sense to someone else, it makes sense and the person writing it feels happy about it, And honestly, I think the muse, that could be the name of probably 95% of the songs out there. It means everything to that one idea that is under the surface of what the first idea is about a song.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there, and the fact that meanings can be translated to different things. And I know there have been plenty of songs that I've written that someone says, hey, that means this.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not what it really meant when I first wrote it, I think as I grow and get older, and I mean, originally, when you're a young man running around, your idea, most of your songs are written about love, for the most part, because you don't know anything else, right? Like you're just trying. That's the one thing that makes you hurt or feel good, is love. And so a lot of times we end up early on writing about love. A lot of them are, kiddie songs about love and stuff. And you can still write some good love songs and heartbreak songs. And Hank Williams was one of the best at that. But trying to grow as a writer, trying to tap into other emotions, and like you said, Eric, scratch off the surface of what it really is, And for me, trying to get in that moment, that zone, I think is the thing I struggle with without being distracted by anything else, is trying to capture that moment. I don't know about you all, but if I don't have to be alone, but I just have to be focused. Mm-hmm. And lots of people can do different things to get that focus, to hone in on that feeling and really extract that emotion that you have at that moment, and then you lose it. It vanishes just like that. And I was going to share a couple of things with y'all and with the folks out there. There's a couple books I've read, and one of my favorites in the last couple of years, and you can tell some of the book, I love books, but like if there was a crime for damaging books, I would be the number one offender of the way that I treat books. But I love books, and I love books for the fact that you can flip through them and smell them and touch them and bend the pages and stuff like that. But if you want to know more about the muse, one other thing I wanted to say, Eric, about what you said, is I don't think everybody is a song. I think people can be songwriters, but there's something that separates the good ones from the rest. And I don't know where any of us are yet in that path. I think it's all individual. You measure yourself not against other people, but against where you are in your path in songwriting. But one book that I read that really inspired me, I don't know if you can all see this, but it's To Live Is to Fly. It's by John Cruth. It's a ballad of the late, great Townes Van Zandt. And there's a lot of quotes in here from Townes that are extremely inspirational if you're chasing after the muse. Another one for me that was incredible to read that I really enjoyed I'm having a hard time here, but it's it's this book here by Robert Wilburn on Johnny Cash, and it's titled Johnny Cash: The Life, I guess, and it's by Robert Hilburn there. But anyway, if you can tell, the thing's short of being duct taped. This thing is been worn out. And then another really cool book that I read is by Dylan. It's his personal biography called Chronicles. And at some point, he's supposed to release the second one, but this is the first of 2 books, I think. But if you're trying to chase down the muse, those are all really great books to look into.
Hey, Woody, real quick, just something that came to mind too, like just kind of going back to songwriting and motivation, and what inspires me too is really, I mean, tying in the muse and whatever that means, trying to figure out what the songwriter meant by his songs really motivates me too. Like if I figure out his hidden message or her hidden message to a song, you know, that's motivated me in the past to like, all right, shut everything off, get a pad and just start writing, you know. You know, whether that was the whole muse or meaning or, you know, whatever to the mind of the songwriter during that time, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a game to me sometimes or a lot of times to listen to a song and really makes me listen to every single word too. Yeah. You know, and that'll motivate me too if something comes out and really spikes my interest, the idea behind the song.
I've really gotten into vinyl the last year and a half or so, and bought a nice system and stuff, and it forces me to do that because I'm terrible. Like I guess I had bouts of ADD, I guess, but if I'm listening to something, I'm constantly paying attention to the words or the melody, and whatever else I'm doing, I'm not paying attention to. So I'm usually either paying attention to one or the other. But getting vinyl and putting a record on has really forced me to try to chill out and really focus and listen and just kind of close everything off. But I think that's a good recommendation, Eric, is you know, trying to discover what that message is. And I think we all have these little messages within, and generally the good ones aren't, you tell people, you don't tell people, you make them feel it. Mm-hmm. And I'm bastardizing a John Prine quote, but that's what it is. It's better to make someone feel it than to tell them. Mm-hmm. So, well, fellas, I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. Let's do one more song and call it a night, if that's okay with you all. You got one more in you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, please. Cody, do you have anything else to say about the muse? I think Eric did a good job of describing that thing that's out there, and I know you had brought it up, so I'll let you close with that.
I think we covered it pretty well, man. It's crazy because it can hit anyone at any time doing anything, and it could come in many different forms. And so, I mean, you really can't even prepare for it sometimes, you know. It just hits you, and you gotta, in that moment, you gotta seize it and run with it, you know.
Yeah, Sonia, she commented on our discussion and said, I think the best songs can mean something to everyone. It may be different than what was in your head, but everyone may connect to it, and that is what makes a song great. And I think she's right. I think it's just connecting to human empathy, and connecting with people. So anyway, give us another one. It can be your song or cover tune. I'm debating right now whether I should do a cover song or if I'm going to do another original before we end here.
I told my buddy I was doing this tonight, and he had a request, so I'll play.
So you have to do it now.
I have to do it now, you know. So this one's from my buddy Chris McGuinn, man. He wanted to hear my original song, "Wasn't Made to Win." So this song is just when you're down and out, man, you're not feeling too good, but yeah, here it goes. It's a kind of heavier tune. It's called "Wasn't Made to Win." It sounds like this.
Cool, man. Thank you. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm too high to know what's going on. I'm too drunk to give a damn. I'm just living through the dash on my tombstone. Yeah, and I won't rest till I'm a bag of bones. Well, the good Lord knows that I wasn't made to win. I thank Him and the devil for this here life of sin. I found a genie in a whiskey bottle and I gave in. And I learned me some lessons that I never will forget again. I've had nights sober as a judge. I've had nights Jim Beam was my only friend. I've had nights that I just can't remember. And I've had nights I never thought would end. Well, the good Lord knows that I wasn't made to win. I thank Him and the devil for this here life of sin. I found a genie in a whiskey bottle and I gave in. And I learned me some lessons that I never will forget again. Every night I pray to keep my soul. I'm just scared of what happens after death. If it's worse than earth, then I don't want to go. And will they let me in with whiskey on my breath? Well, the good Lord knows I wasn't made to win. I thank Him and the devil for this here life of sin. I found a genie in a whiskey bottle and I gave in. And I learned me some lessons that I never will forget again. Damn right.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Don't give in.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you sharing your music on here tonight with Picking with a Piner.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity. What do you think?
Yeah, man, it's good having you. I've been really enjoying this every week, getting to get different person on here, hearing their music and hearing what makes them tick as a songwriter and artist. So it's fun having different folks on here. So thanks for doing it.
Yeah, man, sounds great.
Hey, you got one more? You got one more in your?
Yeah, man, I was actually looking up all these lyrics. I've been playing this tune. I haven't memorized it fully, but it's a Jillian Welch tune, Miss Ohio.
Oh yeah, oh me oh my oh.
Yep. And I'm kind of gonna play it Band of Heathens way.
Yeah.
Just honestly, I actually heard that version of the song probably first, and I love those versions.
Yeah.
But I can't sound like Jillian Welch. I can't sound like the Band of Heathens, but I feel like my voice kind of goes towards that a little bit more.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna try that out.
All right, let's hear it. Ohio.
Oh me, oh my, oh, look at Miss Ohio. righteous night right now. Gonna drive to Atlanta, live out this fantasy, run around with a rag top down. She's gonna do righteous night right now. Drawn around her shoulder like a regimental shoulder, almost pushing that wedding gown. She wants to do righteous night right now. Oh me, oh my, look at me so high, running around with the rag top down. She wants to do righteous night right now. Know all about it, don't have to shout it. Gonna go get straightened out somehow. Gonna do righteous night right now. Oh me, oh my, holding me so high, turn around with the rag top down. She wants to do righteous night right now. She wants to do righteous night right now. I said she wants to do righteous night right now. I said she wants to do righteous night right now.
Nice. I love Gillian Welsh.
Yeah.
If anybody's out there and doesn't know who she is, her and her partner David Rollins are an incredible crew, and they write and make very beautiful music. And both of them inspire me to want to be a better songwriter.
Yeah, I love their song Pilgrims, I think it is too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's at home.
Yeah, she's up there, man, with one of my favorite. Just the simplicity that she writes and conveying the human emotion and painting a picture for everyone. I love what she does, but I also love Band of Heathens. It's cool to hear the Band of Heathens, take on that as well.
Yeah,
It's a
and
good
that's
song.
another song that, I mean, it has. It's the same thing over even the chorus,
Yeah. It's no change. The chord progression is the same all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's
dynamics is all you need, up and down.
it ain't wrong. That's the key.
Exactly.
It ain't wrong. And so many times I get caught up on, damn, does this sound right? Is this good? Should it go somewhere? Does it got to go somewhere? And and it don't have to if it makes sense and it feels good. But thanks for sharing that one. That's a good song. I love that song as well. I'm gonna give it up to the listeners. Do you all want to hear an original or a cover tune? I'm gonna do the last one, and we'll call it a night. Please say original, but whatever you want, I'll do. And I'll embarrass myself with a cover song, but not because the song is bad or that I'm embarrassed to play it. I'd be embarrassed if I messed it up. But I'm gonna give it up to you all. Paul said do an original. Okay. We got, all right. It's original night, man. Thank y'all for listening in. This has been Pickin' with a Piner. I will do an original tune that I don't have recorded. My band doesn't play it. Only a few folks have ever heard it. If you search Facebook, you can find it. But there's not much of it out there on this song. So you are a special crew. The 30 or so folks that are listening, you will be the first, second, third, and fourth people to hear it. So this song, I was debating on which ones to do, and this one is called Whiskey When It Rains. Some folks sit and talk about the weather. Some claim to feel it in their bones. For me, when the rain is falling, it reminds me I let somebody go. In a cold motel in Texarkana, laid up with someone I don't love. Well, I reach for the bottle and stay in till the rain passes on. 'Cause I only drink whiskey when it's raining, something warm to wash away the pain. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it's raining. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it rains. Well, the weatherman is talking on the TV. He said rain clouds are coming in. It's hard when you lose a lover. It's harder when you lose a friend. 'Cause I only drink whiskey when it's raining, something warm to wash away the pain. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it's raining. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it rains. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it's raining, something warm to wash away the pain. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it's raining. Yes, I only drink whiskey when it rains. We had whoa. I don't know, got a weird echo here.
I turned my volume down just in case, but
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I think it's one of you guys, but I've got you muted for a quick second. I don't know what happened, but that was whiskey when it rains, and for some reason we were having some little. It's Cody that's doing it, so Cody's on mute right now. But I just want to thank you guys tonight for being on this episode of Picking with a Piner. It's been an honor and a privilege. For being here tonight, and let me see if it's still doing it. No, it's not. Cody, whatever you did, your dog broke it. I'll blame it on him.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the camera.
But yeah, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been episode 4 of Picking with a Piner with Cody Spicer and Eric Horrocks of the band South Hill Banks. Thank you, too, for being on this episode with me. I really, really appreciated having you.
thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think as long as we are in quarantine, I think I will continue to do this. So I'll get you both back at some point to do this again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And everyone out there, thanks for listening. Please make sure tonight, if you want to donate and give a tip, we're donating all of the proceeds tonight to the Massey Cancer Center in memory of Gail Horrocks. That's Eric's and Ryan's Horrocks' mother, and we want to make sure we honor her. So if you feel led, please give, and we really, really appreciate it. This has been episode 4 of Picking with a Piner. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. God bless you, and stay safe out there. Thanks again for listening. Peace out, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.